You are not who you think you are. You wear a name, you wear a face, you wear memories, like clothes that no longer fit, but that you refuse to throw away. But the dark truth is this: you are not who you think you are. You are not the story you've told yourself. You are not the voice in your head. You are not even the pain you carry. What you call you is a patchwork of borrowed thoughts, broken beliefs, and inherited trauma. Your identity was sculpted not by truth, but by accident, survival, and repetition. When you were a child, someone praised you, and so you thought you were good. Someone ignored you, and so you thought you were invisible. Someone hit you, and so you thought you deserved it. But none of those things were true. They were just events, random, chaotic. And you were just a sponge, absorbing everything without knowing what to keep and what to reject. The dark truth is this: you were programmed, like code written into a machine. Your reactions, your desires, your fears, they are not truly yours. They were handed to you by people just as lost as you. You act like you have free will, but most of your actions are predictable, not because you are weak, but because you're asleep, asleep in the dream of a self that never truly existed. You are not the good moments. You are not the bad ones. You are the awareness buried underneath it all, the one watching the storm, not the storm itself. But you forgot how to look inward. You forgot that your mind is not your master. It is a tool, and a tool left unguarded will eventually control the hand that holds it. The darkest truth: you defend your illusion. You protect your ego like a scared animal in a cage, even when it hurts you, even when it lies to you. You choose the comfort of a lie over the chaos of truth. Why? Because truth demands death, not the kind that buries bodies, but the kind that buries identities. And you've grown attached to yours. You fear who you'd be without your pain. You fear who you'd be without your history. So you cling to them like life rafts, even though they're made of stone. But you are not stone. You are not static. You are not final. You are a question. And the moment you stop asking who you are, you become a ghost in your own life. Not dead, just forgotten by yourself. You call it growing up. You call it maturity. But really, it's erosion. The child inside you didn't die. He was buried under schedules, expectations, disappointments, and silence. And now, when he screams, you call it anxiety. When he weeps, you call it depression. When he runs, you call it overthinking. But it's not. It's your real self, knocking on the door, begging to be remembered. And still, you scroll, you numb, you distract, you build a fortress out of entertainment, validation, and noise, because silence is dangerous. In silence, the lie trembles. In silence, you hear the truth. And the truth is this: you are not who you think you are. You are who you choose to become. The moment you stop pretending, you crave control because you are powerless. You pretend to be in control. You wake up at a certain hour. You brush your teeth, scroll your phone, check the time, go to work, follow a plan. You tell yourself it matters. You tell yourself you're driving the car. But deep down, you know you aren't. You're a passenger in a machine that reacts to fear, impulse, and routine. You crave control because you've never actually had it. Not real control, not the kind that sets you free. Most of your choices are chains. You call them decisions, but they're just default responses to pain you never healed from. You chase people who look like the ones who hurt you because your nervous system confuses pain with love. You sabotage peace because chaos feels familiar. You seek certainty because the unknown terrifies you more than misery. You're not driven by clarity, you're driven by avoidance. You run from discomfort like it's a fire, when in truth, it's the only thing that could ever burn away the false self. You fill your days with goals. You call that purpose. But if you're honest, most of them are just distractions dressed up in productivity. You grind to prove you're worthy. You hustle to avoid stillness. Because in stillness, the lies you've built your life on begin to echo. And silence is a mirror that never blinks. The dark truth is this: control is an illusion you've been sold, because the real truth, the unbearable one, is that you don't even control your own mind. Thoughts arrive without your permission. Emotions hijack you without warning. You say, I think, but it's not really you thinking. It's old programming, old wounds, old voices repeating like broken records. And the worst part? You believe them. You treat thoughts like facts. You treat fear like a prophecy. You treat worry like a strategy. But they're just smoke. And yet you live inside them as if they were stone walls. You look at others and judge them. You pretend you're different, better, more self aware. But if someone studied your patterns, they could write your story before you lived it. You are not free. You are conditioned by trauma, by family, by culture, by the pain you buried and never spoke of again. Every mask you wear, the confident one, the funny one, the tough one, is armor forged in fear. You weren't born with it. You built it to survive. But survival isn't life. It's just not dying. And most people you know, they're not living. They're not choosing. They're surviving. You wake up tired because your soul is exhausted from pretending. You feel empty because the roles you play can't fill you. And you call that normal. You call that adulthood. You call that being realistic. But it's not real. It's just small. And you've mistaken smallness for safety. The truth? You're terrified of letting go of control, letting go of the false self, letting go of who you think you're supposed to be. Because what if there's nothing underneath? What if the real you isn't good enough? What if the silence reveals that you're nothing, and that is the deepest fear of all, that beneath the noise, the hustle, the roles, there is no core self, just an echo. But here's the twist: that echo is the doorway, not to nothing, but to freedom. The self you fear doesn't exist because the real you hasn't been born yet. It's buried beneath the rubble of expectation. It's hiding behind every fake smile, every forced goal, every lie you tell to fit in. And control? It's the cage that keeps the real you locked away. You don't need more control. You need surrender. You need to let go of needing everything to make sense. You need to stop fixing and start feeling. Stop escaping and start enduring. Because only in surrender do you finally meet yourself. And maybe, just maybe, that self isn't broken. It's just buried. You lie to yourself better than anyone else ever could. The person you lie to the most is yourself. You know that, don't you? You say you're fine when you're empty. You say you've moved on when you're still haunted. You say you're over it, but your habits betray you. Your silence betrays you. Your eyes betray you. The dark truth is this: you have built a life around self deception, not because you're evil, but because the truth was too heavy to carry when you were younger. So you buried it, and you got good at it. You learned how to smile when you were breaking. You learned how to stay quiet when you wanted to scream. You learned how to perform, to become whatever people needed you to be, just to feel wanted, just to feel safe. But the price of that safety was authenticity. You told yourself it was strength. You called it resilience. You even felt proud of it. But deep down, you knew it was just survival. Now, years later, you wonder why you feel like a stranger in your own life. Why relationships feel hollow. Why every achievement fades into emptiness. Why nothing ever feels like enough. It's because you've never truly shown up. Not as you, only as a version of yourself that you thought would be loved, accepted, approved of. And you're exhausted. But still, you lie. You lie about what you want. You lie about who you love. You lie about what hurts. And worst of all, you lie about what you're afraid of. You wear masks, layered one over the other, until you forget what your real face looks like. You say you're self-aware. You say you're healing. You post quotes about growth and self-love. But inside, you're still scared of being seen. Because being truly seen means being truly vulnerable. And you've confused vulnerability with weakness your whole life. You lie because honesty would unravel everything: your identity, your image, your narrative. And if that falls apart, what's left? A person you've avoided meeting for so long. The real you, the unpolished, unfiltered, uncertain version. The one you rejected because others did first. But here's the darkest truth. That version of you, the one you keep locked away, is the only one who can feel peace. You've tried to fix your anxiety, tried to escape your overthinking, tried to silence the ache in your chest. But you can't fix what you won't face. You can't heal what you refuse to admit exists. And so the pain stays, quiet, subtle, like background noise you've grown used to. But it's there. It always has been, because it's not trying to hurt you. It's trying to wake you up. You are not okay. And pretending won't change that. Pretending just deepens the wound. What you need isn't more control, not more distractions, not more success, not another habit tracker or self-help book. You need brutal, honest reflection. You need to sit with the truth until it stops scaring you. You need to stop lying, because no one else can free you. Not friends, not lovers, not books or therapists or gods. Only you can do that. And that freedom doesn't start with answers. It starts with confession, with admitting what you are and what you are not, with burning down the fake identities you've outgrown. So tonight, before you sleep, ask yourself one question. What truth have I been running from the longest? And when the answer comes, don't run. Don't deny it. Don't twist it into something pretty. Just feel it. Let it hurt. Let it burn through every lie you've ever told yourself. Because on the other side of that fire, there is someone real. And for the first time, you might actually meet them. You confuse attention with love. You say you want love, but you settle for attention. You crave depth, yet you drown in shallow waters. Because somewhere along the way, you learned that being noticed was safer than being known. Attention is easy. It flatters the ego. It gives you that quick dopamine spike. That moment where someone's eyes land on you and you feel like you exist. But then it fades and the emptiness returns. Because attention is not love. It never was. Love sees you, not just the version you show when the lights are on, but the version you bury, the version you apologize for, the one even you have trouble accepting. And that kind of seeing, it terrifies you. You say you want intimacy, but the moment someone gets close, you push them away. You self sabotage. You ghost. You pick fights. You act cold. Because deep down, you don't believe you're lovable, only tolerable, only desirable in pieces, not as a whole. So you perform. You become what they want. Funny, smart, charming, sexy, whatever earns the applause. But applause isn't connection, and performance isn't presence. You confuse being wanted with being valued. But people want distractions. They want entertainment. They want novelty. Love isn't flashy. It's quiet. It's consistent. It's the hand that stays when you're not impressive. It's the presence that doesn't flinch when you're breaking. But you don't trust that kind of love because you've never really seen it. Maybe your parents loved you conditionally. Maybe love was something you earned through achievement, obedience, or silence. Maybe love felt like walking on eggshells. So now, as an adult, you recreate that dynamic, not consciously, but habitually. You chase people who give you just enough to hope, but never enough to rest. And you call that chemistry. You call that passion. It's not, it's trauma. The dark truth is, you crave the highs and lows because stillness feels like abandonment. You associate calm with emptiness. So when someone shows up steady, you call them boring. You say, there's no spark. But the spark you're looking for is chaos. You romanticize unpredictability because it matches the emotional weather of your childhood. You don't want love. You want relief. You want someone to distract you from yourself, to keep you from feeling the ache you've buried. But no one can save you from that, not long term, because people can only meet you as deeply as you've met yourself. And if you haven't met your wounds, your fear, your shame, then real love will feel like discomfort. It will feel unfamiliar. It will feel wrong. So you'll run. You'll chase someone else, someone more exciting. And the cycle begins again. Another high, another crash, another story you tell yourself about how love just doesn't work for you. But it's not love that's the problem. It's your definition of it. Love doesn't look like obsession. It doesn't taste like anxiety. It doesn't feel like performance. Love is when you stop needing to prove yourself. Love is when you let someone see the parts you hate and they stay. Love is when you're no longer acting. So if you're tired, tired of the games, tired of the confusion, tired of feeling half full, stop chasing attention. Stop calling fireworks forever. Stop asking people to love a version of you don't even like. Because love begins where performance ends, and the version of you that is most afraid to be seen is the only one truly worthy of it. You are repeating the same day over and over. You wake up, scroll, eat, check messages, pretend to laugh, feel tired, sleep, then again and again. It feels like life, but it's not. It's something closer to autopilot, a loop that looks like motion, but hides the fact that you're standing still. You are not growing. You are not evolving. You're recycling old versions of yourself, hoping they'll somehow become new. You call it routine, but it's really avoidance. Avoidance of the unknown, of risk, of feeling something real. You are stuck in the safety of repetition because you are terrified of what real change would demand: effort, pain, failure, exposure. You would rather die a little each day than face yourself without distractions. You want purpose, but you fill your time with noise. You want meaning, but you scroll past anything that challenges you. You want to live, but all you do is maintain. You've mistaken survival for life. You eat the same food, say the same words, think the same tired thoughts. You've even made your sadness predictable. You know when it will hit. You know how to drown it in routine. You've rehearsed your breakdowns so many times they no longer feel tragic. They feel scheduled. You are haunting your own life like a ghost, repeating the same path in the same room, hoping the door opens by itself. But it won't, because the truth is brutal. You are the one keeping it locked. You have built a comfort zone out of excuses, and now you live there, trapped by your own reluctance to change. You tell yourself, tomorrow I'll start. But tomorrow is just another version of today. You dream of escape, but you never pack your bags. You want a different life, but you show up every day as the same version of you. The loop doesn't break because you don't break. And deep down, you don't want to, because breaking the loop means letting go of everything you think you are. It means killing the version of you that's failing quietly, but still giving you something familiar to cling to. Comfort is your drug. You hate it, but you won't quit it. Because misery, you know, feels safer than freedom you don't understand. So you do it again. Wake, scroll, distract, sleep, repeat. And in the space between seconds, your soul whispers, "This is not it." But you silence it with content. You hush it with food, with texts, with lies. You whisper to yourself in the dark, "I'm trying. I'm just tired. I'm doing my best." You're not. You're delaying. You're hiding. You're existing on the edge of your own life, afraid to step in fully because it might hurt. Yes, it will hurt. But staying here, this loop, this predictable spiral, that's not safe. That's decay. No one is coming. Not to wake you, not to shake you, not to fix this. Only you can. But first, you have to stop pretending today is different just because the calendar changed. You're not stuck. You're just repeating.